We're halfway through plastering Ethan's bedroom ceiling. Now Ethan is a great little lad. He's full of beans, he's absolutely crackers, and he loves Spider-Man. In fact, he's having Spider-Man wallpaper right round. Now unfortunately, little Ethan's got severe asthma. So I'm going to tell you now why we're here and what we've done. I received an email from a lady called Rachel who had seen me on YouTube. She'd just moved into a place and all the ceilings in her house were all plastered apart from one, which was in her son's bedroom, which still had Artex on the ceiling. Now she was really worried that it contained asbestos because her son has breathing difficulties already. I advised her to get it tested, which she did, and it come back negative, no asbestos. So she still wanted it plastering over, but one of the biggest things she was worried about, that there'd be loads of dust. Now she's had it checked and it hasn't got any asbestos, but she was still really worried when we said that we might have to denib it and take the high spots off. Fortunately we don't have to, I'll be able to skim over that, but I couldn't tell by the pictures she sent me. So we've brought with us anyway a dust extractor, so that when we do this, any dust that's created is took straight outside. It will also take any dust out when we're mixing plaster, because the last thing we want is poor little Ethan to have any problems with his asthma with the dust from in here. So the carpet's going to go when we're finished. So that's like a fitted dust sheet for the time being. But we've got a little surprise for them, and you'll see in just a second. I'm going to get some of this in, some half time, so they're not waiting around for ages. I always put this in the first coat. Now this is a little surprise for Rachel and Ethan. This stuff, Pure Finish, takes badness out of the air. It literally cleans the air in your room for about 10 years. So this stuff's going to really help him. I think it's going to be a nice little surprise for them. Now you've probably heard the term VOC, and you'll see it on the side of a tin of paint sometimes. VOCs basically are volatile organic compounds that are released into the air from things in your home, and that's because they're used and produced in manufacturing of things like carpets, paints, sealants and adhesives, as well as many household cleaning products. This Artex ceiling is all over the place, but we'll get it as flat as possible for them. Now, one of the most common types of these volatile organic compounds is a compound called formaldehyde, and this plaster literally takes it out the air. It absorbs the formaldehyde molecules into the plaster. It then, with the active air technology, converts it into an inert compound and keeps it locked in the plaster. Now, you might be thinking, why is that so important? Well, I'll tell you in just a second. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're looking at this thinking, that looks messy. He doesn't normally put it on like that. This Artex has got a little bit of thickness in places and the ceiling is up and down. So I'm just putting it on thick, but you'll see the next bit. Wait till you see the next bit and you'll see how I fix it. So whilst I'm carrying on with that, let me tell you why it's important. Formaldehyde is a known carcinogenic, it's known to cause allergic reactions, and it's known to cause respiratory problems like asthma. Answer me this, how many kids do you know with asthma? Now, I usually use my speed skim for this, but the attachment that attaches it to a pole is broke. So for the time being, I'm going to try this little bit of kit out instead. Spatulas. Now, these are lovely to use. If you use it too much though, this seems to bring the water to the surface of the plaster. So I usually prefer using plastic, but we'll give this a whirl anyway. So all Rachel has to do now is make sure that she paints this ceiling with a water-based breathable paint, and that active air technology is going to start sucking out the formaldehyde out of little Ethan's room. In fact, it's going to take out up to 70% of it. Can you imagine how much cleaner the air is going to be in there now? Okay, that's all the Artex covered with the first coat, and we've flattened it out with this to get all the lines out of it. Now there is a little bit of bleed through here. You can see the odd little bobble, but they're almost flush with the first coat now. So now what I'm going to do is let that really firm up, and then we'll put a nice wet second coat on, and it'll be completely covered. All the Artex will be completely gone. It'll be lovely to skim over. You can got me cup with a K on it for me. They must have knew I was coming. Right, look, I can just about leave an imprint in it, but it is going off. It's not completely set, look, I can squidge it a little bit, but that's just about right now for the second coat. Okay, let's get this second coat on. Look how nice that goes on now. It's like spreading over plasterboard. The little fella's going to be made up when he comes home, and his mum's got more new bedroom furniture and all decorated nice for him. Apparently he loves Spider-Man, so all his wallpaper and beddings are going to be all Spider-Man stuff. Now, for any old school plasterers watching, do you remember what board finish and multi-finish used to be like 20 years ago? Like whipped cream, wasn't it? That is exactly what this stuff is like to use. It's absolutely lovely. The only thing I didn't like about it was the price. It's almost 3 times more as expensive as a normal bag of finish. But I think that's down to the builders merchants, not British Gypsum. Now, when I originally priced this job, we didn't include for this special plaster. But, in my opinion, you can't put a price on a kid's health. So I'll be covering the cost for this. This will be my little gift to Rachel and Ethan. Once the second coat of plaster was on, because I was feeling lazy, I used the spatula to flatten it in as well. When we're just flattening with the spat, I've just noticed there's a big hollow section there. So that's the good thing about using something to flatten in. You can see where the hollow sections are. Gives you the opportunity to just fill them out. Make sure the ceiling is nice and flat. Check out my special effects, eh? I'm turning into a right little nerd with me editing, aren't I? Okay, so what I'm actually doing now is cross-troweling. So originally, I put the ceiling on that direction, and then I've given it the first wet trowel in that direction, but now the second wet trowel, I'm going across a 90 degree. Now what that's going to do is, when the plaster is getting smoothed out, if there's any little ridge and you're going the same way, it's going to stay there. So you go on a 90 degree angle, and then the flatness of the trowel pulls them ridges out as well and makes sure that the ceiling is nice and flat. Oh, let me introduce you to Reese. That's me nephew. That's me wife's brother's son. Now granted, he might be built like a racing snake, but don't be deceived. That lad can't half eat, and I seriously mean it. He can pack the food away, no problem. Every dinner time, he never ceases to amaze me. And with that, the ceiling was finished. All that's left to do now is clean down around the edges. Now what I tend to do is run around with my trowel and then cut off the snots. And then if you damage the ceiling, just run along again and wipe it off with a cloth. Now, as well as Rachel getting a nice little surprise, I've also got a nice little surprise for you guys. If you're in the trade and you want to find the best way to bring in tons of work and fill your diary in 2025, click on the little link in the description. I've wrote a free ebook and an accompanied video for you. Just click on the little link in the description and it's free for the first 250 people. Hope you enjoy it. Oh, another thing before we're finished, we still need to screw the light fitting back up. So we're going to position that back where it was, tighten it back up. Now it's been plastered in behind it. Some guys like to plaster around these, but to be fair, it's not good, because if they ever need to be changed, you can't get them out again. So always drop them down if you can, plaster in behind it, and then tighten the screws back up. Just be careful. If you're not used to doing it, maybe turn the electric off, because the last thing you want is to be getting a haircut by a man web. I just thought that's an old saying. Man web probably doesn't even exist anymore. I mean, who is it now? Is it Scottish Power, or I don't know. Things change, don't they, over time, but the saying stayed the same. And that's it, all finished. Look at the dark patches starting to come, so you can see it's setting already. It's going to dry out over the next couple of days. Now all that's left for me to do now is nip downstairs, tell Rachel we're all finished, and tell her about the secret plaster that we've used and how it's going to benefit her little lad when he gets home. Cheers guys, thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.